Nowadays, it seems like audiences have a new Dr. Seuss screen adaptation once every few years. But in the early 2000s, it was a different story.
You're the
Grinch! Jim Carrey is the Grinch.
In the year 2000, producer Brian Grazer and director Ron Howard brought the first live-action Seuss adaptation to the big screen, with How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Though the film received mixed reviews, it was a huge commercial hit, prompting Grazer and Imagine Entertainment to start looking for a second blockbuster Seuss property.
Director Bo Welch was the production designer on Beetlejuice and the Men in Black films, and the sets here are colorful marbles, but we spend an awful lot of time in the house with Myers channeling Bert Lahr's cowardly lion voice and doing the same old shtick. His best comic moments occur when he steps out of character for in-jokes and asides. That's okay, but maybe a part of him was realizing as the movie was being made that a live-action version of The Cat in the Hat just wasn't a great idea.
I know it is wet and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun that is funny.
No matter what you make of it, The Cat in the Hat is a movie that takes surprisingly big creative swings, in a style that I don't think moviegoers have seen in family films outside of the work of Phil Lord and Chris Miller. From its wild sense of humor to its unique look, it's a rare type of big-budget movie that just isn't made anymore, at least in live action.
I think because you grew up with these books, and because they have universal themes inside of them, and because the illustrations ignite such fantasy in your mind as a child, it just leaves sort of an indelible memory.
After growing up with Dr. Seuss and successfully adapting The Grinch with Ron Howard, Brian Grazer was entrusted with The Cat in the Hat by Theodore Geisel's widow, Audrey Geisel, who controlled his intellectual property.
When he had the idea, when it was a new idea, he'd come scuttling in, kind of like that, and tell me, I've got it.
My current bestseller, The Cat in the Hat, has sold so far almost 250,000 copies. Signed, Ted Geisel.
'90s comedy superstar Tim Allen was first attached to play the title role in the film, which was initially based on a story idea of his own, and fleshed out into a screenplay by Forrest Gump screenwriter Eric Roth. But in 2002, scheduling conflicts led to Allen being replaced with Mike Myers, with a change of screenwriters as well. Seinfeld alumni Alec Berg, David Mendel, and Jeff Schaffer were hired to write a new draft of the script, maybe because Grazer thought they were a safer choice, considering they also worked on How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Or at least it appears they did, given that their names are in the trailer, but not the actual movie. With this change came the hiring of director Bo Welch, who up until that point had only directed for television, but had an incredible track record as a production designer, often working with directors such as Barry Sonnenfeld and Tim Burton.
If there's a discernible visual concept and some lasting imagery that supports the story and haunts you as you go to bed at night, that's a good one.
Now, at this point in the video, I need to take a little detour to talk about Bo Welch, since he's basically the reason I chose to feature The Cat in the Hat in the first place. In my opinion, Welch's work as both a production designer and a director is inventive and totally original. The Gotham City Plaza from Batman Returns? That was Bo Welch. The epic Shakespearean look of Thor? That was Bo Welch. The 1960s JFK airport-style alien concourse from Men in Black? That was Vincent D'Onofrio, but actually, it was Bo Welch. If you want to see some of his very best work, I'd recommend checking out the first 4 minutes of Joe versus the Volcano. It's a short sequence, but I think it's a testament to what production design can do to establish the feel of an entire film.
This movie, the sets, the colors, it's pretty wild. It actually looks like sort of the book in the illustration.
Well, Bo Welch, the director's done an amazing job. This guy is a genius, and I think A Star is Born. He used to work with Tim Burton. He's created this amazing world it just reminded me of being in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Willy Wonka. And in fact, they built an entire housing development, and people from the highway used to come off the highway.
Yeah, I see it. It's off the 118. I would go by and go, who lives there?
In 2003, there wasn't yet a cohesive look to the Seuss films like there is today with the animated adaptations, giving Welch the creative room to make choices, like building a world that's not quite realistic, but not quite Seussical. Unlike How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Cat in the Hat initially presents us with the reality of straight lines, limited color palettes, and total conformity, right down to the hundreds of lime green hatchback Ford Focuses. In fact, the movie waits to introduce the signature wavy Seuss style until after the cat's magic is released into the real world.
It's the mother of all messes.
Yep. Pure, unadulterated fun without any good sense or judgment.
As for the story of The Cat in the Hat, Berg, Mendel, and Schaefer's screenplay stays faithful to the 61-page source material book, while embellishing on every detail to sustain a feature running time. In November of 2003, Mendel told the Associated Press, "We pitched it almost as a kid's version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The book is a very perfect beginning, middle, and end. We used it as a skeleton. Mom has to go out, kids are left home, cat comes to visit, house gets messed up, they kick out the cat, they clean it up, and get everything done before mom comes home." Just like in Dr. Seuss's 1957 original, we follow the rainy day misadventures of siblings Sally and Conrad, played by young Dakota Fanning and Spencer Breslin, who both do a great job carrying a lot of the movie, especially considering the camera is on them so often, catching their frantic reactions. Mike Myers is also impressive as the cat himself, who inevitably shows up to turn Sally and Conrad's dull world upside down.
This is the part of the makeup process where I look like an Amish elder.
You're in 3.5 hours of prosthetic makeup, then you put this hot furry suit on, and then you go out and there's this crew and there's people are looking at you because you've got a tail hanging out your butt.
In our new age of digital makeup, it's easy to forget what actors like Myers, Robin Williams, and Jim Carrey went through to achieve their looks practically. And in the case of the cat, who magically changes his appearance in almost every scene, I can't even imagine what it took to design, build, and wear so many costumes.
Did you hold my dog?
I have a problem with the word dog. I don't use the D word per se because I think it's really, really wrong, but I will happily hold your canine American. Yeah.
Myers plays the cat as a coy, multi-voiced Looney Tune, who seems to share some DNA with SNL's Linda Richman.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. The radical reconstruction of the South after the Civil War was neither radical nor a reconstruction. Discuss.
Aside from an out-of-place cameo by Paris Hilton, the cast does a great job of making the cartoony tone actually work. From Kelly Preston as the siblings' workaholic mother, to Alec Baldwin as the slob villain Lawrence, aka Larry, a scheming mooch who looks like he escaped from one of Berg, Mendel, and Schaefer's unproduced Seinfeld episodes. The deleted scenes for The Cat in the Hat are worth checking out, especially an entire omitted sequence in which Baldwin tries to buy back his repossessed TV at an absurdly themed electronics store.
Welcome to the jungle! We've got what you need.
Don't do that.
Most of all, the deleted scenes are worthwhile for the full version of Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman's original song, Fun, Fun, Fun.
There was this cat I knew back home where I was bred. He never listened to a single thing his mother said. He never used a litter box, he made a mess in the house. That's why they sent him to a vet who cut off both his bow. Boy, that wasn't fun.
While David Newman's score for The Cat in the Hat is whimsical and fitting, I think Shaman and Whitman's clever songwriting stands out, even if they only collaborated on a total of 2 songs for the movie.
Bet you thought I'd gone, bet you felt a sting, bet you never thought I'd have another song to sing.
And since I have an unhealthy relationship with Broadway shows, I have to take this moment to recommend their original cast recordings of Hairspray, Catch Me If You Can, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which are all worth a listen. Shaman and Whitman's 2006 score for the pseudo-biographical musical Martin Short, Fame Becomes Me, is particularly hysterical and catchy.
All I ask is you love me and like me as well. I'm desperate for attention and I'm needy as hell.
Unfortunately, although The Cat in the Hat made $134 million on its $109 million budget, the movie was not well received.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
A.O. Scott of the New York Times was especially harsh, stating, "The problem is that Mr. Myers, Mr. Welch, and a squad of frantic screenwriters throw in disparate elements out of sheer laziness, concocting a grueling, chaotic stew of forced whimsy that utterly lacks imaginative integrity or visual spark." Reception of the movie was so bad that Audrey Geisel decided not to allow any more live-action adaptations of Seuss's work to be produced, subsequently canceling production of a sequel, The Cat in the Hat Comes Back. After the movie's release in 2003, Bo Welch continued working as a production designer, contributing to films such as Thor, Men in Black 3, and Brad Silberling's highly underrated Land of the Lost, which is worth watching just for its amazingly prophetic Matt Lauer cameo.
Just say it. No, just say the damn title.
Fine. Matt Lauer Can Suck It by Dr. Rick Marshall.
I was so surprised that your attorney signed off on that. I was like, are you sure? Is this going to be okay? He said, yeah, go for it.
You've got to keep chasing your schemes. Keep chasing your schemes. Your future's what's the word for?
Welch eventually returned to directing in 2017 with Barry Sonnenfeld's Netflix TV adaptation of A Series of Unfortunate Events. After working together over the years on so many projects, it's apparent that Welch and Sonnenfeld make a great team with a distinctive combined style. And as the series production designer of the show, it appears that Welch has the freedom and budget to once again push the boundaries of what interesting kids' content can look like. Best of all, he's kept up his knack for designing amazing creature-based vehicles.
You have me at somewhat of a disadvantage. I didn't bring my fly swatter.
So, kiddo, what do you want to do for fun?
Like most other big-budget family comedies of the early 2000s, The Cat in the Hat spawned a massive line of merchandise. It's fun to have fun, but whoever arranged the movie's promotional tie-ins clearly did not know how. Even though the takeaway lesson of the original book doesn't exactly have the moral weight of, say, the Lorax.
Who delivers outstanding fuel efficiency without compromising the joy of driving?
It still seems a little weird to me that a Dr. Seuss story was used as the basis for such an immense amount of advertising content.
This holiday season, you're invited to experience the ultimate house party.
Let's get this party started!
In a game where you become the coolest cat in town.
In November of 2003, a tie-in game was released for the Xbox, PlayStation 2, PC, and Game Boy Advance. And yeah, it's not very good. Look, I know it wasn't the filmmaker's fault, but what is this? Why is Alec Baldwin driving one of Dr. Robotnik's hovercraft things? And who could forget this beloved passage of children's literature?
Quinn's machine is powered by the crab lock and looks quite deadly. However, it has a weak spot, and if you can shoot up the exhaust pipe enough times, you'll damage the ship.
Wait, where was I? Oh, right. Could Brian Grazer have chosen a safer, more conventional route to bring The Cat in the Hat to theaters? Well, sure, but wouldn't that be counter to the chaos and fun of the source material? Though I do wish the movie had done better with critics and at the box office, I'm still glad Bo Welch and his creative team had the chance to make it. Despite whatever flaws it may have, Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat is a one-of-a-kind family film with guts and true imagination. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more awful greatness. I'd be awfully grateful if you did.
Matt Lauer Can Suck It